G'day, it's Jono Break here with Monday Myth Check. And today we're looking at this concept of passion and grit. We hear a lot about, there's even a book called Grit. We hear a lot about just double down, work harder, push harder. We've talked about that in some other myth checks. So what I want to look at today is this myth that if you love what you do, okay, and you work hard at it, you'll overcome any challenge, okay? Again, we're talking about a myth check today. So if you love what you do, you work hard at it, you can overcome any challenge. I want to hold this up to the light and think about, okay, what are some of the challenges that may come if that's what we believe and that's what we carry. So the reality is passion and perseverance are great, but they don't guarantee success. Yeah, sometimes external barriers, market conditions, industry changes, make it possible or make it impossible to succeed. There's no such thing as impossibility in my world, but it makes it harder to succeed and it might seem impossible. And so we've got to think about, how do we adapt? How are we flexible? How do we work with others? Because one of the things that can happen when we get really passionate and really gritty about something is that we can get so bogged down in it, so doubled down in it, that we don't actually bring others in, or we don't build proper systems. We don't operate consistently because we're just going after that thing that we're passionate about. So let's have a look at three things here. Passion and perseverance, number one, is not always enough, okay? You've got to have a plan. You've got to have some capabilities. You've got to understand what it is that makes you successful, okay? And whilst I admire people who work hard at this stuff, I've had to do it myself. I've had to really double down on things. At the end of the day, these things have to come with a plan. They have to come with some kind of targeted direction. That's something we really focus on in the Forge Mentor, for example, in terms of doing quarterly execution planning, objectives and key results, having a 12-month vision, all that sort of thing. The second thing is that success requires strategic awareness. So strategic awareness is those broader frameworks, it's that broader thing, that broader direction that we've said we're going in, not so much the day-to-day tactics. So strategic awareness understands what's going in the marketplace, for example. It might look at what's happening, out in our world. It might be understanding my business. What are the trends? What are the industry trends? What are the technology trends? All those sorts of things. But the bottom line is that just blind persistence, like I'm just going to keep getting after it, and I've seen people do this, it's not healthy, okay? You've got to have a strategy. You've got to have a direction you're heading in. You've got to have a plan. And that means, whilst you might be thinking about all of this, you're going to tackle this right now. You're going to double down and focus. I just worked with a client yesterday on this, where they have a ton of stuff they can do this year. And I said, right, we kind of did our quarterly execution plan a month late. So we have 8 out of the 12 weeks to execute. And I always break things down into 2 weekly kind of sprints when we're talking about the strategy to the tactics. And so we had to get them, a little bit under control and say, what are the things we can do in the next 8 weeks? And we got it down to like 4 or 5 key results that they would measure over the next 8 weeks, that they would get done, that were easy to get done and would give them the wins they need. And then we reset again in the quarter, all the while working towards the thing we said we're going to do over the next 12 months. So we've got to think about this idea that there is a plan behind it and we can't just go off blind awareness. The third one is that timing and context matter. Okay, we see people who hit a market at the right time. We see people who understand what's going on and they speak into that, or they develop something into that. So they understand the context they operate. It might be the way they lead and they understand the context of their leadership. It might be the way they do marketing or they connect, and they understand the context of that. They don't just say, this is the way it's always done. We look at the context. And so even the best ideas will fall flat in the wrong environment. I started out in a startup company back in the late 90s, and we were ahead of our time in terms of developing web-based software. Great idea. Today it's very normal, but it wasn't then. And so even the best ideas, we need to, obviously coming back to that idea of strategic awareness and those sorts of things, we need to know about our markets. We need to know about what's going on, what's being disruptive, what's not, all that sort of thing. So what can you do about this? So there's 3 ideas. Well, what can you do? So what I would do is schedule a reality check session. Where are you being, maybe a little bit too blasé about this, right? I can just overcome it because I'm passionate about it. Where are you being a little bit too blasé about this? What's your plan look like? What's the direction you're going in? And what do you need to do to kind of get control of that? This might look like a quarterly execution plan like we do inside the Forge Mentor, but something that you can be held accountable so you can step forward and get after what you're getting after, okay? And win and succeed at that. So just something to think about today, something to take action on. If you love what you do and you work hard at it, you'll overcome. Grit and passion in and of itself does not work. Having a plan, having a direction, being consistent does. I'm Jono. This is Monday Myth Check. As always, enjoy the journey.